Okay, so today we're going to be going over how I put together my Airsoft race gun. So the base of this gun is a Marui Hi Capa 4.3 dual stainless. Most of the parts from that original gun have been swapped out. The only parts that are left are the beaver tail safety, the two side safeties, and the original hop-up unit. On the outside, we have an Atlas Custom SV frame, Atlas Custom Speed Cat slide, Atlas Custom fixed outer barrel. The compensator and the mount are made by Revanchist. This is a real Seymour Systems red dot. The red SV grip is made by Shooter's Design. It's an older company. The Infinity trigger is made by Bomber. The magazine is the original mag with a 5KU Infinity base plate. The invisible hammer is a Airsoft masterpiece. So whenever I do one of these custom Hi Capas, usually the first thing I'll do is to do a dry fit between all of the aftermarket parts that I'm adding to the gun. The two parts that I'm the most concerned about is the frame and the slide. Since we're using parts that are made by the same manufacturer, there shouldn't be too much fitting that's required, but we just want to make sure that everything moves back and forth. If I tilt the slide back, it'll fall in place in the frame, and if I tilt it forward, it'll move forward under its own weight. I can also test fit the barrel. Again, since it's made by the same manufacturer, shouldn't be too much fitting that's required. See it move back and forth. Now I'm going to start taking apart the pistol and breaking down all of the parts to transfer into this frame. Okay, just finished putting the slide together. This is it on the frame, so if I pull it back, it doesn't get stuck. Not too much movement. Push the barrel, that's good. Pullback unit. Something that's really important with these slides, you have to make sure that your hop-up gives your barrel enough drop. If it doesn't give it enough drop, then what's going to happen is when the slide gets pulled back, it's going to get stuck. So minor things you can do, you can inspect the leg at the bottom of the barrel where the slide stop holds in the hop-up unit. And basically what you want to do is take your slide stop and just fit it through the hole. If it can fit through very easily like that, then shouldn't have too many problems. If this leg is binding up on the slide stop at all, then you're going to want to modify it so the slide stop can fit through more easily. Okay, so now we're going to be putting in our middle chassis. Everyone complains about doing this, but it's really not that bad. Everything I have is assembled in here. I'm going to test it real quick. If I push the hammer forward, we can see our firing pin protruding out the front. If I go to test the firing pin, it moves freely. It's not getting stuck in any position. That's what we want to see. I have my firing pin lock on the side, but there's no spring in it yet. This is the part that everyone loses. So to do this, I'm going to push the hammer forward, move my lock into the locking position. Then I'm going to get my tiny spring. Put this in the side. Make sure that everything is flush, and I'm gonna hold it with my left hand, with my thumb over the spring. Take my frame. I'm just gonna drop everything in. Make sure that your hammer strut is coming out the back so it doesn't get caught. And very slowly lower it into the frame. Once it's in there, you can get your disconnector, slide it through the right side until you see the top come out this hole. Here's our disconnector. Now I can put in my pins to lock everything down. And that's how it's set up. We can test it. If I push down my hammer lock, we can feel the firing pin reset. Show you through the sort of what it looks like through the bottom of the grip. So we can see that black piece of metal that came out, that's the firing pin. If I hit the disconnector, or the firing pin lock, we can see it retreat back into the frame. So one more time, hammer goes forward, pin comes out, I push the lock, and it retreats back into the frame. When this is out and I put the magazine in, the valve is gonna trip it and make it retreat. If it's under spring tension, it'll stay in place. And we can feel that firing pin is nice and bouncy. That's what we want. So I'm gonna go ahead and put everything else back together. Let's do our beaver tail. See, real quick. Put some lube on my leaf spring. Don't forget your detents. Testing the detents, everything is nice and bouncy. And we're going to put in our side safeties. Okay. Those work well. Take our leaf spring. Yeah. This is my scope and the scope mount. I did have to modify the side so that it can fit in the radius in the bottom of my frame. I like these because you don't have to drill and tap the mount.